chaos in the heart of London. This was the scene this afternoon at Euston Station, one of the UK's busiest transport hubs. Hundreds of people, travellers with destinations in their sights, were suddenly told to get out. No time for questions, just a wave of urgent evacuation orders that brought the station to a standstill and sent a ripple of fear through a city already on high alert. What sparked this mass exodus? And how is it connected to a day of tragedy that had already unfolded hundreds of miles away? Today, we're piecing together the timeline of two significant events that put Britain's security services to the test and left the nation holding its breath. The first signs of trouble at Euston emerged shortly after 2:45 p.m. this afternoon. Commuters and travellers rushing to catch their trains or navigating the London Underground were met with a sudden and jarring announcement. Transport for London, or TfL, posted a blunt message on social media. Euston Station. This station is closed due to a security alert. For those on the ground, the situation was confusing and increasingly tense. Eyewitnesses described a swift and total evacuation. One bystander took to social media posting, "Security incident at Euston Station. They've now moved us all to the bus station. Must be serious." The message painted a picture of an operation moving with a gravity that suggested this was no mere fire drill. Another person inside the station at the time shared an image of the eerily empty concourse, a space usually teeming with thousands of people, now deserted. They wrote, "Just been told to evacuate Euston Station. No idea what's happening." The lack of immediate information, a common feature in fast-moving security situations, only added to the anxiety. One frustrated traveller noted the communication difficulties, saying, "Comms as usual dreadful at Euston. Would it hurt to have a PA system? Just one poor bloke with a megaphone." The response from emergency services was immediate and substantial. At least 3 police vehicles were quickly on the scene, their presence a clear indicator of the seriousness of the alert. The fire service was also dispatched, arriving shortly after the initial police response. A cordon was established, pushing the evacuated crowds further back from the station entrance as a major police presence secured the area. The news agent's presenter Lewis Goodall was at the station and shared his experience. He described a full evacuation and noted the significant police presence. He later added a crucial piece of information gathered from station staff. "Train staff tell me, evacuation due to a suspicious package police are investigating." This was the core of the alert. A suspicious item discovered within the sprawling complex of one of London's main gateways to the north. In the current climate, those two words, suspicious package, carry an immense weight. To understand the tension of this moment in London, we have to look north, to Manchester, where the day had already been marked by horrific violence. Earlier today, the nation was left reeling from a fatal terrorist attack at a synagogue. The attack took place at the Heaton Park Hebrew Congregation Synagogue in Crobsall, north of Manchester. It was Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, a day of atonement and prayer. Worshippers were arriving to observe this sacred day when the unimaginable happened. At 9:31 a.m, Greater Manchester Police received a call from a member of the public. They reported seeing a car being deliberately driven into pedestrians near the synagogue, and that at least one person had been stabbed. The response was incredibly swift. Just 6 minutes later, at 9:37 a.m, police declared a major incident and invoked Plato, the national code word for a potential marauding terrorist attack. A minute after that, at 9:38 a.m, firearms officers who had arrived on the scene fired shots. The man believed to be the attacker was shot and later confirmed to be dead, but he had already inflicted devastating harm. 2 people were killed in the horrific attack and 3 others were left with serious injuries, having suffered wounds from both the vehicle and the stabbing. The Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, expressed his shock, stating he was appalled by the attack and confirming that police had been deployed to synagogues across the country to provide reassurance. The leader of Manchester City Council, Bev Craig, called it a shocking and reprehensible attack on members of Manchester's Jewish community on their holiest day. And so, it was against this backdrop of tragedy and heightened alert that the drama at Euston Station unfolded. Every security alert, every unattended bag is treated with the utmost seriousness by police. But on the day when a terrorist attack has already been carried out on British soil, that seriousness is amplified tenfold. The evacuation at Euston wasn't just a precaution, it was a necessary response in a nation on edge. For nearly an hour, uncertainty reigned. Train operators like Avanti West Coast confirmed that all services in and out of the station were suspended, grinding a major artery of the UK's rail network to a halt. Passengers waited patiently, huddled in the nearby bus station, watching the flashing lights and waiting for news. Finally, shortly after 3:30 p.m, came the update everyone was hoping for. The British Transport Police issued a statement. A spokesperson told the Mirror, "Officers were called at around 2:45 p.m. today, the 2nd of October, to reports of the suspicious item at Euston railway station. A cordon was put in place and the station evacuated as a precaution. The item has since been assessed as non-suspicious and the incident stood down." End quote. The package was harmless. The threat was gone. A collective sigh of relief could be felt not just at the station, but across the city. Transport for London confirmed the station was reopening. But the incident was far from over for those trying to travel. The knock-on effect of a full station closure is immense. Avanti West Coast announced that while all lines had reopened, residual cancellations and delays in / out of London Euston are expected. National Rail warned passengers that disruption with delays of up to 35 minutes and cancellations could be expected to last until 8 p.m. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of our daily routines. A single, non-suspicious item can cause hours of disruption for thousands of people, all because of the potential for something far worse. Today has been a day of stark contrasts. In Manchester, we saw the tragic reality of terrorism, a hateful act that stole lives and shattered a community on its most sacred day. Our hearts go out to the victims, their families, and the entire Jewish community in Manchester and beyond. We saw the bravery of the emergency services who ran towards danger to neutralise a threat. In London, we saw the system working as it should. A potential threat was identified, a swift and professional evacuation was carried out, and a thorough investigation determined there was no danger. It was disruptive, it was frightening for those involved, but ultimately it was a successful demonstration of the vigilance required to keep a city safe. The events at Euston, while thankfully harmless, cannot be viewed in isolation. They are a direct consequence of the world we live in, a world where the tragic events in Manchester necessitate the cautious and disruptive response we saw in London. It is a delicate and often frustrating balance between freedom and security, between daily life and constant alert. Today, that balance was tested. In Manchester, it was broken with tragic consequence. In London, it held firm. As the last of the delays clear at Euston and a community in Manchester begins its period of mourning, the day leaves us with a renewed appreciation for the unseen work that goes into protecting our society, and a somber understanding of the ever-present threats that make such work so vital. Thank you for watching.